are back. Makai, you
Yes.
wanted to bring something up for this next segment?
Yes, I want to read you a quote from Leiomy, the icon, the legend Naomi.
Oh,
Because this gagged me, it got me together, and I want to hear your thoughts. So
gag
this is this
set.
this this is from a Facebook post that came across my feed when I was just scrolling on Facebook one day. It was a couple days ago. Sorry. It's just so good. Okay, okay, okay.
Oh, no.
Hey, performers of this generation, y'all do know there's more than one style of voguing, right? It seems like nowadays everybody wants to vogue the same. No hands, barely a catwalk, 2-second duck walks, and just lots of spinning, hopping around, pausing, and just random dips. This is why I personally missed the separation of soft versus dramatics. It actually gave the performers a lane to stick to while voguing down at the same time. And then the legends don't make it any better. I get it, we want to come out and play around after not being out or whatever, but the studio should be the first visit before. LOL, legendary and iconic performance is supposed to be a lesson to the generation now to showcase why you're a legend or iconic in your category. Then the judges don't even care to be stern, lol. They just let everybody through and then they vote for the most wild performers, lol. There's so much talent, but not enough structure with the category, and y'all hate to hear it. Before y'all take this as a read, like everything else I say, just pay attention to the message, babes. And then people in the comments are like, people have been saying this, everybody need, or no, people in the comments saying this is why we need classes, but no, this means everybody not meant to vogue, and that's what needs to be instilled. So when I read that, I'm gonna be so completely honest. I do not have qualifications in Vogue. I want to learn how to Vogue so mother it is like when I go in the club, I know my little like nogging, like basic bitch, like it's not cute tricks in the club, but like I want to learn how to Vogue down. But when Naomi said that, Naomi like she gathered the girls because I kind of
Gag
agree.
set.
Like
Gag set.
I like it's just I yeah, there's just something about, like voguing now. And look, I didn't get to see Cat's Jellicle Ball. I'm gonna try to find
Yeah.
the video. I really want to see it, but I'm just like, this
If
is
you
just
find it, send
another.
it and talk about it.
I will. This is just one of the like things that I am frustrated with in the community when it comes to like legends and icons, kind of like re-emerging and resurfacing, and just like I don't know. Like there's something about we obviously we're just talking about like figures in the community and like the celebrities in the Black community, but like to me as an and I'm sorry, I want to be very clear. I'm talking about queer icons right now. I'm not talking about just the general Black community.
Absolutely.
I think that I agree. I feel like now this is what I'm trying to get at.
Mhm.
I feel like the younger generation of Black queer people have been struggling to find their voice. And I know for me as a young Black queer person, like I'm so grateful to have like our trans elders and seeing like shows like Drag Race and seeing these, queer out celebrities who are able to like talk more, and like Duran Bernard, someone who really has been an inspiration for me recently. Um, and so like I do think that there is a certain status and a certain mentorship that these legends are supposed to be able to like provide
Absolutely.
the younger generations, but I feel like there's a disconnect, and I feel like right now the younger generation don't want to listen, and I feel like the older generation low-key doesn't want to teach, and there's just like a disconnect happening. So what are your thoughts on this whole thing?
I feel like you can say that exact same statement and plug it into any industry right now across the globe, and that would be true. Um, I do think this is so interesting. Um, Voguing is an interesting one. So I used to do drag all the time, right? And when you do drag, you see a whole collection and a whole variety of skill with voguing. You mostly see a lot of nogging. I've been known to do a crunchy duck walker 3. um, but I to be fair, I don't think that there are classes for how to do it. I've actually
Nope.
looked up
Nope.
how to do. I want to learn how to do the whacking. Actually, if you know what that is, I
Yes.
want to learn how to whack because I don't with my hip injury that I have, I can't really be getting down and doing all that duck walking. But these hands,
Mm.
baby, I want to be able to do things with that. But you can't find classes on
Yeah.
that. You can't find people who are teaching those things, right? And so I do think as somebody who in some industries I'd be considered some type of queer elder in my 30s. A lot of us are younger. We have to be willing to teach the youth our skills. We have to be able to set that example. We have to be willing to do that. Because I do think that a lot of it is that we just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Because then we feel old and then we feel like maybe our time is coming up and we gotta pass the
Mm,
torch. And we're not trying to pass
yeah.
that torch yet because we're like,
Yeah.
I still got it. What you mean?
Yeah.
But on the other side, I do think, and this is true, that this is fun because we have a millennial and a Gen Zer on this, and I'm for sure about to talk about your generation for a second. Your generation don't want to hear shit that we have to say, and I think that that's just what it is. We could go out there, we could offer the class, we could offer that class to y'all. We could say, come on in here. We'd get 2 people, and they would have opinions. So we wouldn't even be able to really teach them because they'd be too busy
Mm,
arguing with us about how it's
mm,
taught or how to do X, Y, and
yeah.
Z, or maybe the way that and it just it becomes too much. So it's an interesting thing to figure out how to do that particular thing in our community.
I
And societally, but I do think that if you do not know the culture of voguing, because that is a culture, that is
yeah.
not just like a thing, right? Like, oh, this is a cute thing I kind of do. Like, that's a whole culture. Like, people train for that. People go to balls, and that's part of like their act. Like, there are people whose act when they do the ball is to vogue. There are people who walk the runway. There are hosts, and there are people who vogue. If you don't understand that, go watch like Pose. Pose gives a great example of that
No,
particular
no, no.
culture.
Go watch Paris is Burning
And Paris is Burning. I
and
did recently
Pose.
watch that, by the way,
It's
too.
so
Watch them both.
good.
And it was, I cried. I cried during Paris is Burning, but a little bit too much. But it was just, yeah. Watch these things.
Here's also I really love that you there's a point that I wanted to bring up, and it was two things, but here's what I will say first. I think with the Gen Z of it all, I do think something that I like about Vogue is like you do have to find it. Like Vogue finds you, you find Vogue, Vogue finds you, and like the fact that there aren't classes, I think really keeps it. I like some things. I think I'm starting to realize that some things do need to be kept in Black culture and in queer culture. Like some things do need to be like secrets. Some things do need to be the back room. Some things do need to be like the gay bar. Like not everything needs to be mainstream, and I think voguing obviously is mainstream now with the Jellicle Ball, and but even that feels niche still. Like I just feel like there does need to be a level of like secrecy with these things, and I appreciate that about Vogue, and to the
Can I
point,
interrupt you real quick to just ask a question
yeah.
to the to my voguers and my people in that particular ballroom community? What is the best way that you want us to learn from you?
Yeah, that's a
That's
good
my
question.
question. Like, comment or do something. What is the best way that you want people who may not be in that ballroom culture or be dancers like that or have that training? What is the best way for us to get into that culture? Is that showing up to the balls in part and just kind of doing it? Is that finding by word of mouth who these elders are and hitting them up directly? Like, how do you want them to do that?
This is
That's
something
it.
that,
Go ahead and continue your point. I'm so
no,
sorry.
you're
I'm
good.
thinking about that as you were speaking.
This is also something that they were talking about in the comments of Leomy's post, because a lot of people are saying voguing is not for everyone, and I also agree with that. Like I think that I I I I hesitate to even be like, how do we learn? Because like I think the blueprint is there. Like you have to watch the videos, you have to do the research, you have to do your homework. And I think that's like, I think in terms of the like teaching versus Gen Z not listening conversation, I think that Gen Z, there is the Gen Z that feels like, oh well, I can just watch Legendary and I can just watch Pose and I can just, you know, go online and watch the videos and like mimic it, and like it could, you know, maybe it's nogging, but like they're not entrenched in the culture. They're not getting the feedback from the legends, from the people who actually do that. So there is, I can see the world, I can see both worlds. I can see the world where there's like the do it yourself world, and I can see the world where there's classes. But the thing that worries me about classes is it getting watered down, and the people, these kind of people being able to access
I,
it so easily.
I think about the Olympic breakdancing
Yeah,
shenanigans.
it was a chop completely.
She was feeling herself. She was feeling herself. I was like, I'm glad. I'm glad that for you, you felt that you ate. I understand. So when we talk about like breakdancing, because I was just thinking about it in that lens as well for people who may not like have a connection to voguing, but like have a connection to like a b-boying and breakdancing thing. That's also not something where they have like b-boy classes. You just kind of sit in community with people who do it and they teach you. And so maybe it's not necessarily having classes because we've learned, especially as people in a culture, that when you open up a cultural thing for everybody, it does get watered down, it does get co-opted, and it does get changed. I think like twerking, right?
Yeah.
Originally twerking for Black people was more like how Latinos will use their hips to do salsa. They have
Yeah.
these beautiful hips that they use to be sensual. Black women use their butts. And when that particular type of dancing made its way to America, it was taken over by another culture and it was sexualized in a way that went beyond what its original meaning was. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't just grinding against somebody's whatever. It was they were dance things. Like you did things. Like there, if an African went up there and started doing a particular dance, the African man had a dance that he would do with her. And we've just stopped doing that in America, and it's become this over sexualized thing that doesn't make any sense. So when I think of it like that
You
way,
got me twerking in my chair right
like,
now. Like, okay.
but it is the truth. Like it really was. Like maybe I'll do a deep dive one day and go in there and really research the history of twerking.
I think you should. I'd be
Just so
interested.
that because it is an interesting thing. Like it really, once it became to America, it became something completely different than its actual roots. And so that's something that to be thinking about as well, is that when you do offer your culture out, you do risk it getting watered down and turned into something else. And now everybody's nogging and calling it a completely different name. Let's be real here. They'll call it like hand dancing or something like that
Ooh,
and be like,
girl,
I
no.
invented this. It's called hand dancing. It's like
Here, I just,
like
I
how
want to.
everybody calls a particular move a death drop, but it's actually called a dip.
Oh, yeah. This is also something that I think is interesting about this conversation. I I think I'm interested also in talking about the line between like queer elder mentor and like sexuality, romance and sex, like that intersection, because I feel like also the struggle that I think a lot of Gen Z are having is like being able to navigate these queer spaces with our queer elders and it not be sexual. Like I think some I'll speak for me. I everybody has their thing. I like older men. We all not exclusively, but I'm just saying like my appetite is open. I'm hungry, as the girls say. So I have had interactions with older queer people, Black older queer people, thank you, who, I am mystified, captivated, attracted to. And I've also had those interactions turn friendly, turn sour, because there's that like sexual dynamic that's at play. And so I think too, there's like a lack of sometimes it's like a lack of boundaries on both sides, because I definitely think that there are plenty of older queer people who, I won't say prey, that could be a word I could use, but like, prefer younger queer people, and it can become a
Yeah.
little bit predatory at times, and it's not always that equivalent balance in that dynamic. So I think there is like something to be said on that front. Like there maybe is a lack of queer allyship from our own elders.
And I think that we can't talk about that as well without talking about like loneliness, right? Is
Mm,
that there's massive loneliness amongst queer people. And so sometimes they go into situations where they get mentorship from an older person. And that older queer has lived life a specific long period of time. And they have maybe not been in that type of relationship that they were hoping to be in. And and they start to see this as companionship. I've been in situations where I've mentored and my mentee, it has never been like a large gap. You know what I mean? I used to teach kids, and so it's easy for me to be like, keep yourself over there. But like mentors I've had that are within like 4 to 5 years of my age, they have started to flirt.
Mm.
And at times of my life where I was a little bit more, excuse me, when I was a little bit more lonely, and when I was really struggling with depression and my own self-image and my self-esteem was low, I would sometimes feed into that against my own judgment, right?
Yeah.
And it would create shitty situations. And I'd leave that being like, why did I even first? And sometimes I'm not even attracted to the human being. I'm attracted to like the companionship. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so that's something that I think
Yeah.
as a community we do need to talk. We can't have the conversation about loneliness. I will say that that's only really happened on one hand. You learn your lesson real quick on that. I've seen that happen. What'll happen sometimes is that you will have these people who want a mentorship, and they also have this thing for older men, right? And so they'll ask this person for mentorship as an in to
Yeah.
flirting.
Yeah.
We also, as a
Yeah.
community, are over sexualized as well. So,
Yeah.
like, a lot of queer people don't feel like they can even maintain a relationship without having sex, and that is a
Mm.
problem. Um,
Damn, you're
and the older
clocking
you
it. Oh
are,
my god. You're clocking
and
it
the
so
older you
good.
are, the more that particular culture was put in you. Because for a
Mm-hmm.
long time, that's all you could do. That's all a queer relationship could be was sex, right? And so I think that we still have an issue in our community where everything is sex, and that blurs the line between
Yeah.
certain things.
Yeah. Oh, damn. That is you're just sparking so much in me right now cuz I'm just like, damn, like maybe that's why a lot of younger people feel this weird tension with our queer elders is because like we see them not only as like our elders but also like our competition, our like desire as well. Like there is so much complicated like feelings around these
It
connections. Wow.
it gets complicated at
Yeah.
certain times talking to certain. I mean, I will openly admit I don't usually go into a room full of gay men very often because I'm never sure whether it's my peers or whatever. I'm never sure which one of these relationships they're going to try to turn sexual.
Mm.
And I've been victim, and I've done this myself too. I've been back in my turned up, non-healed days where I was doing self-destructive behavior. I was known to, not known to, but I would sometimes get a little vodka in me, get a little blackout drunk, and text a friend or three, and that's my fault. I own that. You know what I mean? I'm not going to sit up here and sugarcoat it and be like that's anyone else's fault or try to be like, oh,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to justify it. That was my bad. I should not have texted my friends while I was drunk the things that I texted them, right? And it wasn't anything like sexually explicit. It was
No,
just
but
like,
Queen, I've been there though. I've definitely
yeah,
said
we
some
all know we
sexually
and so
explicit stuff.
I just loneliness is hard.
Yeah.
Loneliness is hard when you're queer, and when you're super lonely, everybody looks like an option.
Yeah.
Me,
Yeah.
I do this thing now where like, and this really helps with my mentorship and it really helps with not with keeping my boundaries. I keep it like 5 years. 5 years
Mm.
younger, 5 years older. If you are not in that radius, don't even try it. It has made it very easy to separate myself
Yeah.
from those ones. And also, I used to get, this, we just got out of our masters. A lot of people thought I'm like in my early 20s. And
I
so
don't know
I'd get
who.
like 22, 23. Yeah, y'all didn't, but they out there did. It was crazy. I was like, what the fuck do you mean? You think I'm like 24? Baby, no. But I got that so much. And so I'd have these like young people flirting with me, trying to talk to me about like fucking Chaperone and Glorilla. And I'm sitting up here like, who? What? Girl, I am old. Who? No, I don't know nothing about these people. Tyler, who?
Oh my god. No,
All I know about her is she's skinny. So and then I gotta sit up there and be like, I am 10 years older than you, my babe. Don't let the cute face fool you. We are not the same age. And so it'd be weird. It'd be weird. Anyway, we got off topic, but I think it's the dancing thing.
Oh my god.
I think it's incumbent upon.
Goodbye.
Let me finish
You're
my
not.
point.
You're not getting away with that. You. Okay. Okay. I'm sorry. I was just gagged at you for a full 5 minutes there. You go ahead. Finish your thought. Oh my god.
Look, I hope whatever I said had some type of reverence, because I be speaking sometimes. But to bring it back, I think that it's incumbent upon those of us who are older, more mature within these communities to set up spaces that are safe,
Yeah.
that have clear boundaries, and that are welcoming to people who are interested in learning from us, in being in community with us, and in sharing journeys with us that are not explicitly sexual, that are not romantic, that are just community.
Now, here's what I will say, and just to kind of like tag on to what you're saying. I also think there is something a little bit hot about an older person like being a sexual mentor. And
Here we go.
look, we have to, if we're gonna talk about it, let's talk about it. Because I also think, like, I do think that there is a lot of flexibility in the queer community. Like, I also feel like there are worlds where like there are queer mentors who are older, who are sexual, and it's not, extractive or exploitative, but like I do think that there is some of that. And I appreciate that. I think what you said was like nailing it on the head though, of like spaces, like not, I think it also like on maybe Gen Z's part, I think that there needs to be some recognition of time and place. There needs to be some recognition of, some discernment, like I don't think that all older, younger dynamics have to be exploitative, but I think it's on Gen Z to be able to say like, okay, I'm in like to be able to, for themselves, for people to be able to understand for themselves, like, okay, I am seeking mentorship. I'm not going to let this, we might flirt, it might be fun, we might kiki, but I'm going to be intentional about keeping this person as a mentor. And I think once us younger people, once people start to involve sex and once it gets enmeshed and these sort of boundaries get crossed, that's when it becomes messy. I think it's up to Gen Z and just like people in both ends of the spectrum to be intentional about like what the lines are, having little rules like that. And I think a lot of like the 5 up and 5 down, I think a lot of people don't, like you said about loneliness, like a lot of people don't know what those boundaries are, or are just so willing to or so wanting to have that companionship that they're fine in meshing them. And I think that you just have to have discernment in navigating those.
And then for people who are older, when these younger people set these boundaries, because I have seen it where they will set boundaries and the other person will see that as an attack. It's not an attack. They're saying they don't want this to cross this. They see you as a mentor, not as this other stuff. Respect that boundary, maintain that relationship.
I agree. All right, PJ. Well, we need to take another break, but we'll be back.
Hey y'all! Thank you so much for watching our video. If you had fun with us today, don't be shy. Like, comment, and subscribe. And tune in every Friday at 5 p.m. for our full episodes. Have a good day, and remember to see the world with a little more And remember to see the world with a little more